right, so let's see what we can do with one chord and an E minor pentatonic scale positions and stuff. Alright, so as always, click the links below. There's always something good and free to boot. So anyways, let's get to this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take an E major chord. So that's second finger, A string, second fret, third finger, D string, second fret, first finger, first fret, G string. And then we're going to have open E, open B, open E. Right? So all we're going to do is we're going to play the E chord. We're going to go in, slide into another position, come back. E chord, slide in, back, up. We're just going to hit each pentatonic position from 1 to 3 and then come back and just kind of imply a chord progression with riffs. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this so I'm going to go. So what I did is I hit one E, mute, I hit another E, mute, and then I'm going to take off my second finger, which is on the A string, and then I'm going to put it down. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to slide up into position 2, which kind of implies a G chord, right? Because you're playing right out of that G. You got the third of the G right here. So right here, you're basically going up an A chord, so it's almost like going. Right, we're kind of implying those chords by the riffs we're doing. But anyway, so what I'm doing now is so I slide from 2 to 4 on the G. I catch 3 on the B. And then I slide from 4 to 2, back on the G, open. And I go to the D string and pull off to open G. Back into my E chord. Now I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to slide from 2 to 4 on the G. I'm going to catch the third fret B string. So we got. Or. You know, that riff you can do whatever you want. What I'm basically doing is I'm hitting the B and the E at the same time. And I'm sliding up from 3 on the B while letting the E ring out. And I'm coming back to the 3rd fret. So from 3 to 5 on the B, back to 3. So we got. Okay, so what I do right there is I did the same. And then I come down to 7 and 8. And I'm going to hit the 8 and bend it up a half step on the B while hitting 7 and just keeping it stationary on the E. And then back. So what we're doing is we're basically implying chords with riffs, like I said in the beginning. And you can really, do tons and tons of different variations, but it's fun just to take one chord right? Even something as simple as that, where I'm just pulling off the second finger and hammering on. And each of my fingers, I'm pulling off, hitting the open string, and hammering down. And then I'm hitting the high E. Now what you want to do is keep this muting. Now if you can see my pinky, sometimes I just bridge my pinky down here. That keeps those high strings from ringing out. I wrap my pinky around those strings down there. And that's going to keep them quiet while I'm doing all this strumming. And then you want to accent, and then take it off when you're going down to those higher strings. And then while you're doing that, you're using your palm to mute the lower strings. So when you do a riff, that's the only thing you're hearing that's standing out. Right, so the muting is really important on this. So take the simple E chord, and just mess around with it. So take the first position, all I'm doing is I'm using that first position, E minor pentatonic, with the exception of where I'm hammering onto the third of E. The rest of the time I'm in minor. And that riff right there is right out of a Hendrix song. So, if you just take these basic chord ideas and incorporate pentatonic riffs, or any scale for that matter, to spice it up, so you don't always have to play chords or feel like, I'm stuck in a chord progression or whatever. Get creative, have fun, pick one chord and then just jam all over. You can do the same thing in A. Right, so it works over, you can do B. Anything you want, and pick one chord and use the pentatonic position of that chord. The minor version of the pentatonic, whether you're here, here, here. I'm using the major chord, but the minor pentatonic. And then always coming back to that chord and implying other chords with the riffs that I do. So